the way from elementary school, all the way from Esmond, representing Esmond. What's up, man? How
Yeah,
you
man.
doing,
What's good? I'm good. I'm good. Robert Lee.
bro?
Man, that is country.
Man, you know that's country, man. And
I'm
that's
talking. My name Willie. Oh, never mind. Yeah. I don't know if you're talking. Your screen froze.
you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
I had to move, man. Am I froze on your screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. You can hear me clearly though?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. My screen kind of froze on me. I don't know. Respring got to work some things out. I'm freezing. Like what's going on? Let me move
Yeah.
over. Let me move.
Yeah. You gotta stop stealing your neighbor's Wi-Fi.
I know, right? That's what's up. I just want to jam with you real quick, man. R. Kelly. R. Kelly is in the news, so I wanted to get your organic thoughts about a few things. R. Kelly. I want to talk about some little Bill Cosby since you brought it up. Since you brought Bill,
uh,
yep, I want to bring that up too. Bill Cosby. I just want to just talk with you, man. Just vibe with your mind, man. Just we've been friends ever since elementary school. And I don't know, sometimes I don't think people even care, but man, you've been close, for a long time,
right.
even through all the misreads, you always misreading who I am. You thought I was a gangbanger, so you just because I cocked my hat to the left, you thought I was a gangbanger, just because I cocked my hat to the left.
I
So
ain't gonna say nothing that's gonna incriminate you. I don't know the statute of limitation laws like that.
you make me feel better about my gray though. I was like, I'm getting little sprinkles of gray here and there, but you make me
uh,
feel better about it, brother. I'm good to see you, man.
I'm glad I cut it down because there was a whole bunch of Black Santa Claus. Boy.
Yeah, yeah. You're looking good, man. You look like you got your weight in order.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate it. Same to you. Yeah, yeah.
You look like you've been jogging in place a little bit. I understand. I just got off the treadmill myself, man. I was like, I went to the gym, got on the treadmill a little bit, just trying to stay relevant. You know how we do.
Yeah.
All right. First of all, R. Kelly, man. R. Kelly. Let's talk about R. Kelly, man. He got a little sentence shot out at him from New
Yeah.
York. What, 20 years?
Hmm.
It was 20 years.
Yeah.
20 so for what was it, racketeering? No, not
Racketeering.
racketeering and
Hmm. Two
pedophilia.
other things.
And Dennis Williams, what's up, man? What up, cuz? How you doing, man? You know, but but I want to hear your thoughts on that, man. I just want to hear your thoughts. Dennis, if you got any thoughts on it, man, make sure you chime in, man. Uh, so I just want to hear your thoughts on that.
It's a difficult situation, brother. I never want to see anything bad happen to anyone. Uh, no one lose their freedom. But I also don't want to see anything bad happen to young ladies as well.
Mhm.
Um, this, us being from Chicago, we have heard a lot of different things way back when, even before, even back when we were wondering who is this new artist that appears to be copying Aaron Hall.
Yeah.
back
All right.
back in the days, I played basketball with guys that have worked security for them. They used to tell us stuff and things of that nature. And there's a lot of stories that we're all familiar with, from the whole Aaliyah thing. I always felt like that was weird, and there's enough evidence and testimony out there about the nature of their connection and how things went through there. And I think we have this tendency of trying to forgive artists that we're fond of and that we love, even though they may have been responsible for doing some things that are improper. So nobody really wins in this situation. You know, nobody wants to let go of Michael Jackson when he was accused of all the different things and stuff like that. But we've seen a lot with R. Kelly. He's had a chance when he got when he did get in trouble for the from the first situation when the video came out, and I wish he made better decisions afterwards. And unfortunately, it appears that he hadn't. And now we're here today.
Hmm. So you talking about the first the sex videos?
Yeah. So I remember when that
Did you see the
surfaced and stuff
videos?
like
Did you see the videos? Tell the
that. I hate
world.
to admit this out in public, but well, here's the funny thing. So someone close to me and my family had the video and stuff like that, and everybody was just intrigued by it. And yeah, you know, my family member let me borrow it. So yeah, I'm watching everything, and then I get to the part where the alleged young lady was there, and I'm watching everything that happened and stuff, and I'm like tripping on it, disgusted by it and everything. And what scared me the most was the fact that I had possession of that tape because I was watching the news, and they put a reminder out there. They're like, if you have one of copies of these tapes, you're in possession of child pornography. So I called that family member and told them what I saw on the news, and they were like, throw it away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seemed undisputable that that girl was underage. I actually found myself riding the metro one day, and that girl was on that train.
No, no, come on, that ain't true. Come on, Will,
No, I'm dead serious.
you being
Dead
fast,
serious.
you being a little extra for the Facebook
No,
Live.
no. Somebody I was on the train with had pointed it out. I didn't realize who I was looking at, and she was real. You could tell that she was very uncomfortable when people recognized her. I guess a lot of people had seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, what do you feel like the cause of behavior that um what's the root of the behavior that make these scenarios up? You have a celebrity. You have a celebrity. I just want to hear your take on that. I know I got my own take on it, but I want to hear what your take is on it. What put these young women in positions to get exploited in a sense?
A lot of people find themselves in situations doing things that they didn't think they would ever do. Um, of course, it's pretty obvious they were starstruck by his stature and things of that nature, money, power, influence, and things of that nature. And they had a trust. They just wanted to be in this mix. And my personal belief is, as things escalated, and they just wanted to be a part of what was going on, being a part of his world. And it got to a point where it's gotten out of control. It's very similar to we might question why would a woman be in an abusive relationship where a man beats on her, or somebody's with a wealthy guy and they would just deal with all his indiscretions and some of his mistreatments. His power will corrupt you at some point in time, and that had to play a significant role on why these young ladies kind of got to a point where they got involved in things that just gotten into went to they got too involved with it. It went too deep, and it got out of control. We've seen some of these young ladies that appeared to be very loyal on the media about what was going on and defending everything, and now as time they've been removed from that situation, they're starting to come down now. Then they're starting to talk a little bit different about what they experienced.
Yeah, but the thing is, I was feeling like when I was listening to, ever since I heard his case, all the way from the beginning, all the way from Aaliyah, I was just like wondering, like, what type of parents they had, like, like, okay, they may have talent and they trying to get linked up with the talent that they have, but there was no one there like to tell them what levels of comfort, availability was too much or was inappropriate. And it's like nobody seemed to stop them. So I was just kind of wondering, like, how much do you think that their parents play into allowing them to get exploited?
Well, as a father, one thing I do know is you try to give all your children the tools, the lessons, advice on everything. And you know what? The kids are hard headed. When they want something, they want to do something. They carry out whatever it is that they want to do. There's always outside influences that challenge your children. We joked around with the thug thing and stuff like that with you and stuff like that. But your parents been happy with any affiliation or company that you may have kept. There's things that I've done that my parents spoke against that, I was a father 17 years old, and again at 19, that didn't coincide with the lessons that my parents taught me. I've heard a lot of people on social media make these claims and suggest these young ladies knew what they were doing. They should be held responsible. But you're the adult in the room. You can manipulate people. It's your job to make sound decisions and not draw young people into that world.
So you would say you were taught the right thing, but you just decided not to do the right thing. You were taught the right thing, but you
absolutely
not to do the right thing.
Yeah, and I found reasons to justify the things that I may have done. I have children now that I try to give them advice on things and stuff like that, and sometimes they just go their own direction and learn the hard way. They're all good and they're all doing well, but they've all had some challenges here and there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think we've all had that experience.
Right. Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I just, because like my parents taught me, well, I'm not throwing any of my parents under the bus. My mom sort of, like steered me the right way. My dad gave me some different type of advice. So my dad gave me the bravado man advice, which could be stemmed from ignorance at times. I love my dad, so I never would separate from my dad in logic and philosophy, except as a parent to say that some of the input was, it was misguided. It was, what you call the manhood description of misguided, at a young age, and so I don't want to ever separate from my father, but I know I didn't teach my sons that same logic. Now, if they decided to go that route, I couldn't stop them from going that route, but I didn't teach them that logic. I want to read something Dennis said. Dennis said, I'm trying to figure out the statute of limitation thing when it comes to Black men. I have no place for a predator, but I feel there was a lot of people, including family members, that they put their kids in jeopardy for the money. And I agree with that, because this is a situation we're dealing with. We're dealing with a situation called influence. The power of influence. The power of influence is very powerful, because what it does is it puts an impression of a lifestyle. Whether you have it or not, it puts an impression of a lifestyle out there that's worth being desired. If you don't have it, you're going to want to be around someone who has it. So men and women, so it's not just young women, but men and women, whoever is presenting the level of status or whatever, they have a light and a vibe that's going around them that is saying, hey, be submissive to me, surrender to me, and I'll give you what you're looking for. Right? Now, a lot of people don't want to liken that to the Bible or to God or whatever, but let's just talk about it from the concept of influence. What make people want to submit or make themselves subjective to the idea that being in the presence of somebody with influence can get you what you want? Whether that's even true or not is debatable. But why do people will sacrifice their whole life just to be in presence, waiting? And they're also waiting on other people telling them that this person is significant, because that's what influence is.
I think your status in life. Yeah,
Huh?
I think your position in life, some of these families,
Mhm.
plays a role in how easily influenced you are or what you're willing to do. Um, I don't want to say sacrifice,
Mhm.
but it influences what you're willing to tolerate trying to get discovered and to the top.
Right.
Um, you look at Aaliyah's situation.
Mhm.
Aaliyah's been around for a long time, lot since Star Search,
You
and
talking about the singer
this was
Aaliyah?
the singer Aaliyah.
Right. Mhm.
Her parents, from what I have seen, did
Mhm.
not because they knew anything about R. Kelly, about him being inappropriate or anything, but they didn't feel comfortable sending her by herself with him. And the her uncle took responsibility, like he would look after her.
Mhm.
He did not know; those parents did not know what she was getting involved with and things of that nature. Um, that's one situation. But then you have some of these other parents. We don't know their background. We don't know if they were poor or they were struggling or whatever and stuff like that. But they drink that Kool-Aid of, oh, my daughter can be a star. And
Mhm.
it appears to me that they look the other way of what could possibly be going on, or even, I believe, Sparkle's niece, who was on the video.
Right.
There was a trust there where, like, oh, well, he wouldn't do that with my niece and stuff like that. So, uh, everybody's in some of these people were in different situations. Some of these parents may have
Mhm.
literally just sacrificed and just looked the other way, hoping for the best, which would be nothing bad happen to them and that they would actually get discovered and become a star and stuff like that. They were too far consumed thinking about what they can acquire then versus the consequences of what can happen being in the presence of someone who had a reputation of this sort.
Mhm. Mhm. No, that's good. Yeah. Come here for a minute, Mariah. I want to introduce y'all to my daughter real quick. Come here. Come on. With your pretty hat. Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi. Wait, hold on. There you go. Wait a minute.
Hey, young lady.
Wait a minute. There's the camera. Okay, it's this way. Say what's up.
Hi.
She's not gonna get Art Kelly. Okay. So
I'm glad you did that
I'm,
though.
I'm I'm really interested to hear her point of view. Actually, I'm really interested, but she's running it right now.
But,
She's
but I'm glad you did that because when in my younger days, I was very nonchalant about some of the stuff I was hearing about associated with
Mhm.
R. Kelly. The older and older I got, though, the older my kids got, then some people I knew that went to Kenwood, or some things I experienced and saw with my own eyes, uh, really changed my perspective.
Mhm.
I've heard rumors and I've heard people say things and I've heard people talk about, oh yeah, I was backstage with him and he did this, he did that, and stuff like that. I have friends that have done that play ball with him or been to his house and done things, hung out with him, and he's done absolutely nothing. He's been a wonderful dude.
Mhm.
He used to work out at the gym right across the where I used to work when I used to work about 500 North State. There's some gym around there. And I would see his bus. We nod our heads at each other, you know, a few times because we've seen each other a few times. I had a disturbing experience with him personally that I visualized. Uh, After the first incident, uh, they talked about the tape, and then they talked about him dealing with some girl around the rock and roll McDonald's. Does that ring a bell? I
Yeah.
guess she was at prom or something.
Mhm.
Well, after going through all of this stuff, I saw him, an associate, and I believe the older guy is that George from George's music room that he sang with.
Yeah, yeah. George Daniels.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they're at Rock and Roll McDonald's, and I'm at lunch with a buddy that I work with.
Mhm.
And this is all alleged. It was my perception of what was going on. But we're sitting there, and you see field trips. kids that are on field trips, they in buses, and these are young people. And it appeared to me, and it was pointed out to me that Rob is gawking at these girls and pointing, and George is kind of laughing about it. The other guy is trying to tell him, "Come on, let's go, let's go." And he's sitting there. It almost appeared like the whole, the cartoon with the wolf eyes bubbling out. And I'm just like, with all this going on, you actually come back here, and you're behaving this way in public. Now, he could have been talking about anything else. He could have been joking about something like that, but it was not a good look.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them, or two of his associates, was obviously uncomfortable. And me and my coworker are looking at it in disbelief. And it felt a little bit different, kind of getting your own personal view of somebody's disposition in public.
Mm-hmm. Will, I want to ask you a question about fatherlessness. Jarvis Jones brought up fatherlessness. That's my nephew, Jarvis Jones, very intelligent young man. Fatherlessness. How much do you think fatherlessness plays in it, or how much do you think being connected to the cultural norm play a part in it? Because a lot of times we want to be accepted culturally. We want to be live. We want to be known to be, have swagger, influence. So I'm asking you, how do you think fatherlessness play into it? And what you will call trying to be accepted in a cultural norm. How much do both of those play into how people can easily be influenced by someone else's status or stature that is leading to decisions that is completely altering their entire life?
Everybody involved can be affected by all of these things. It's not one particular thing. You can have a father that's a bad influence on you, or you can have a father that's not there give you any guidance. Rob is a victim of that. He didn't have, what I understand, he didn't have a father that kind of pointed him in the right direction, give him perspectives about what's appropriate and what's not. And he's also dealt with abuse, not just with his sister, what we hear about stuff like that at home, but not being accepted in society. This kind of influences what he has done when he's met other people, because some of these girls, their fathers were in the picture. But I do believe that a girl who does not have a father in the house, or they don't have a close relationship with their father, they don't have them there to warn them. Like I have a 15-year-old right now that I'm warning and arguing with a little bit. She dealt with a little boy for a second, or had an interest in one, and I gave her all these warning signs, the things I seen in him. She ignored me. She still tried to see him until he actually displayed some things that convinced her not to be involved. And that kind of circles back to what we were talking about earlier, where you can tell people want to hold parents responsible, and there's the truth to that, but it's kind of hard to get these girls or these kids to honor what you're telling them and trying to teach them. And I have a great relationship with my daughter. I like to believe that she has a lot of trust, but she wanted something that bad, and it fueled the fire in her to be to basically seek out what she wanted. So being fatherless, yeah, go ahead.
Why don't we liken that to some of the things that we hear in the scriptures, though? Like when we hear certain things in the scripture, it says that people are drawn away from their own lusts and then enticed, right? We do everything we can as a parent, but we cannot control, what they're exposed to. We can't control what they're intrigued by when they hear it, right? So why don't we liken, what you will call the established principle of what can be influential in them to the Bible, in a sense of, because the Bible says stuff like that. It says that, if, what's in your heart, right? If you keep repeating something 1,000 times, then you're going to be believing what you repeat. You know, for example, when was the last time you heard this song? When I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall, and in the back of my mind, I hear my conscience call, telling me I need a
LL Cool
girl.
J.
Right. When was the last time you heard that song? Like, when I hadn't heard it in so long. Why do I know the words? Why don't I know the words to that song? Because after I repeated it so many times, it got in my heart. So it made me realize that your heart is made up of whatever you listen to, whatever you look at, and whatever you say. That's what your heart is made of. When you say your heart, it means if you repeat something 1,000 times, it deposits itself in you, and you know you practice it. You practice in saying it. So I hadn't heard that song in so long, but I practiced it so many years ago. You know, over 20 years. Over now, I'm gonna say I'm 48 now, so you got to go figure over 30 years. That's almost over 30 years. That song been out about 30 years, right?
Yeah.
At least that. You know what I mean? You think about, we deposit that in our heart, and we don't. To me, we don't factor in the significance on the importance of that programming. I gotta watch those fingers and see those fingers. That's like that. What they call that? You know, it's in Illuminati. You know, trying to make a little point. That's that Illuminati stuff. So I gotta watch my fingers. But people don't factor in the significance of the power of how you condition yourself when you keep looking at something. You know, in order for me to what you will call be a man that's faithful in my marriage, I gotta quit looking at booties until they get out of sight. I gotta train my eyes not to look at no booty. I gotta look away, you know. So if I don't train myself like that, then you're gonna be designing what you're looking at. You know, you're gonna design what you look at. Or if you're watching pornos, right? If you're watching pornos over and over again, you're gonna be horny, but you ain't gonna be horny for your wife. You're gonna be horny for that other thing you see. I'm just saying, in general, we gotta look at our eyes, and we gotta look at our ears, and we gotta look at our mouth. And like, we got to look at those. Those are the established principles. You talking like gravity. If you keep jumping off buildings, you're going down, period. We don't factor our mouth like gravity. If you keep saying something, you're going to empower yourself to believe it. It's going to be in your heart. If you keep looking at something, you're going to empower yourself to desire it, right? If you keep listening to something, you're going to get weak enough to believe it. Why we don't factor that into when it comes to other aspects of our life, when it comes to our children, and being able to tell them, like, if you keep looking at this, you'll desire it. Or if you keep on doing this, you're going to desire it. Now, if you want to desire it, here's the ultimatum, I'm going to cut you off because I'm telling you, you're going to desire something. And what you're going to do is you're going to put that infested way of being on my ship, and you're going to sink my ship, And I'm not saying go do this to your children, but I'm saying, like, what should be a different approach, in your opinion, about how do we, it's hard though. I know it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
There's
everybody's their own individual.
Yeah.
Everyone is, you have to know how to reach the same way I want to reach one of my daughters. I might have to do something different to reach one of my sons. We have a tendency to want what's bad for us. Whether it's food, or we chase what's wrong for us. You were talking about
never
religious.
Told your daughter no ding dong was good for her. You ain't never told her that. You ain't never like, hey, girl, I'm telling you.
But you don't have to. But you also got the world. There's influences, everything. Like if I pick up my Facebook, open up my Facebook page right now, and I go through my Facebook stories, I'm just going to see a bunch of women in bikinis and posting scantily clad type of pictures and stuff like that. It's like I can't even get away from it, even if I don't want to see it. And when my daughters and sons are on Instagram or whatever, I see what they're looking at.
Algorithms. It's popping up on your page. It's paying attention to your algorithm. It's paying attention to what you like.
There's some truth to that. I mean, you know what? If I looked at something and I looked at it too long, they're gonna keep pumping it to my phone. Yep. Guilty.
Yo, you ain't gotta tell the truth. That's hard, Will. Come on.
But you were talking about repetition and stuff. My mother made a song too. It was called stay away from them girls. Leave them girls alone. And I got to high school and damn near lost my mind.
They told you
I
you
didn't.
was
I wasn't trying.
fine. They
I
told you
wasn't trying to hear that.
they
But here's
told
the
you
thing.
you were fine, Will. You was a teenage heartthrob, bro. I was there with
I
you
said
when you went through your evolution. I was there when you went through your evolution. You
allegedly,
was an ugly
yeah.
duckling. You thought you was a Mexican at first, and then you was like, then you changed your whole language. You was like,
Mexican. Get it
I'm
right.
not.
What does that? What does that say? What does that say?
I know.
Puerto
I know.
Rico.
I said you thought you were Mexican at first, and you're like, I'm not Mexican. I'm Puerto Rican. Once you found out you was Puerto Rican, you was like, you was off and running. We couldn't stop you.
I'm gonna tell you something though, man. That sits heavy on my heart when you were talking though. All those life lessons that I've been told. Anytime I was doing something I wasn't supposed to do,
right,
those thoughts popped in my head about what I was told. And at that time, I had to make a decision whether I was going to do wrong or do right. You know, and many times, there were some times I did right. There's some times I wanted something bad enough and I did wrong. My 18-year-old, this was the funniest thing to me because we were having a conversation and he was getting to a point where he wanted to have sex. He was interested in having sex and stuff like that. But he trusts me enough where he wants to come to me, have this conversation, but he let it like this. He's like, Dad, I want to talk to you about this, but I'm just letting you know right now, if the opportunity comes, I'm going to do it. So no matter what you tell me, I'm still going to do it, but I want your guidance just in case it happened, or what do you think I should do and stuff like that? Because I know you're going to tell me to wait till I'm married and not worry about it and stuff like that. But he was man enough to do something I would have never did with my old man. He was like, but if she offers it, I'm taking it. I had a lot of respect for him because I'm just like, well, I know how this conversation needs to go. You know, but I don't know, man. Going back to your question, you know, you could do the best that you can as a parent. Not everybody is going to be a doctor, lawyer, or be a success. You're going to have some hard-headed kids along the way. They may struggle. They might get better in the future. There's a lot of people that are disappointed with some decisions that their kids have made. They've gone down roads that they can't turn back from, you know. But I don't know the right answer as far as how to guarantee. I just think if you have a decent relationship with your children and stuff like that, you have a fighting chance with them respecting what you say and trusting you.
No, I agree. And I think we all are clear and understand that. I think we all clear to understand that you can only do so much. You can only give so much advice. You can only do so much guiding. You can only, we get that. You know what I'm saying? We get that. Unfortunately, we all up against a world where, our kids' exposure is unpredictable. It's unpredictable when they look at something, I remember when my son...
Worse than when we were growing up. They got way more information available to them. Go ahead.
One of the things my son, when he was my son was going he went to a boarding school in high school, IMSA, Illinois Math and Science Academy. And when you looked at the population of IMSA, it's like I wasn't even worried about his virginity. I was worried about, like him being addicted to mushrooms or airplane glue, because when you looked at the demographics of the population that made up the school he went to, I'm thinking like, look, Justin, you know what I'm saying? You got to recognize what mushrooms are. You got to, I just focused on the most intense fear that hit me. You know what I mean? I just don't want the dude to come home and, he a meth head, And so I started focusing on, and I knew I couldn't control his exposure. I knew I couldn't control it. And so I started zooming in on just trying to prep him, Even when Justin was, before Justin turned 18, he started telling me he drink. I'm like, I drink that. He was at IMSA. And so, I told him, I said, well, if you drink, don't ever drink while you're stressed. You got, something that's due. Don't drink I'm gonna knock my edge off and I'll be able to focus. No, don't drink like that. You'll turn into an alcoholic because you'll be using that as a dependency to say, hey, like I need this for that, you know. So say probably about a few months ago, he was talking to me. He was like, "Man, Dad, you know, it's funny, man." And he said, I don't even drink that much no more at all, like I used to, because he's like, I'm glad you told me what you told me, because I wouldn't have recognized it like that, you know. And I can honestly say, you know, it came from love, but I can't say that it came from a strategy that I could say I could depend on by telling them. I couldn't. I didn't know if I could depend on them for that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I can't even stick my chest out in no glory lap. Like, yeah, take my victory lap as a good father. I'm not saying I'm not a bad father. I'm a committed father. But you know, some of the risk taking advice that you got to give your kids. My oldest son, like he more of a casual drinker or whatever, but he'll drink every once in a while or whatever. But you know, when he was like 15, you know, they kept looking at the liquor bottles while we was drinking. So I was like, well, okay, well, have a drink then. You know, show me what you're made of, you know. So that reverse psychology kind of like curbed his appetite to diving in, but it ain't something that I'm proud to say I could take credit for, because again, it was another risk. You know, he could have turned to a stone cold alcoholic. You know what I'm saying? So that, like, with both of my cases, my scenarios, for my sons not to be alcoholics or meth heads or mushrooms, it was just like I know I'm a committed father. I guess that's what we would call a good father, you know, a sacrificial father in a way. I didn't stop drinking because they had intrigue on drinking. So I don't know if I'm a bad father or not. So there's no way we can predict what behaviors do we, you know, that we, I guess instructions or feedback we give them to help them make their decision. I don't know what they accept or not. I have no idea. I have no clue. And I don't want to be sitting up here looking all, you know, like, you know, proud father of the year, you know. I did it, you know. I can't say, man, you know. So I really feel for some of these situations, these dysfunctional situations where there's no real noble, no father there, just taking these sacrificial, risk-taking input to their lives to give them something to evaluate, because I believe that's the difference. The presence of you being there to offer out different options and opinions about stopping them for a minute to psychologically make a decision whether they want to be disappointing to you or whether they want to, you know, go up against the hassle. I think that's the concept of fatherlessness that we need to look at. It's not so much a father is there and a father will stop all of this. I think the father being there and knowing that he's responsible for that child's development, and he take that to his heart, it gives the child this psychological unbalanced way of saying, I want to chase everything I want to chase, but I'm gonna have a wall of resistance that's coming from my dad throwing out all of this logical stuff. My dad and my mom, I'm not saying that, but when you say dysfunctional families just keep missing fathers in these communities we talking about, they're missing that strong balance of a person that's responsible for them. They're missing that, and it's doing more damage in our society than we are really highlighting to say, like, this is a problem, young man. You cannot just keep on relying off your swag, shooting your seeds around, popping these shorties, and then you going on about your business. Because at the end of the day, those young women are vulnerable to your influence. They vulnerable to your influence, right?
Yeah, I've personally seen it within my own life. Just want to make a quick point, because not all my children grew up in my household. You know, I've had children from previous relationships, previous marriage, and then I remarried. I see how much more reachable my children that grew up underneath my roof are, and how they respect me and what I say to them than my others. It's a struggle sometimes. They're picky and choosy, and they all have different experiences with me, and I see that. And you know, I'm not looking at somebody else's household. I had to look at my own life, and you know, and I've experienced different things when I was a kid with the way I grew up. and stuff like that. But I know these children are going to struggle just regardless. You know, a quote I heard are the hearts.
Say it again, Will.
I believe that to be true.
Hey, say it again, Will, because you broke up. You broke up a little bit.
Okay. No, I was saying that there's a quote that I heard that is one of my favorite memes or quotes that I ran across. And it says something about the first 40 years of childhood are the hardest. It is true because we all trying to get our stuff together. We're all work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
And you just hope that the things that you instill in your children, that even if they don't grasp these concepts now, that they eventually will later.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, that's real. That's real. With that being said, man, I want to thank you, man. Yeah, we said it was going to be 30 minutes, man. I think we took a little more than 30 minutes. Man, it took 40. Yeah. You know, I got to check out and go to work, you know, but I'll be more than willing to, you know, have a conversation, have a panel. I'm going to start putting a few panels together every once in a while. And if you're willing to jump on, you know, give your input, same smooth and easy way you did today. It's no big deal. We're not trying to, you know, I guess we're just trying to have some genuine voices in the world, in the room, in the world. You know, just some genuine voices. I know how transparent me and you are. I know why you bald headed to this day. I know, you know what I'm saying?
Who that down?
I think I do. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? I'm BSing the audience right now because I don't, you know, but I want to say thank you to my cousin Dennis Williams, man, down there in Texas, man. Thanks for chiming in. My man Anwar Jarvis, a few other people that I've seen chimed in. My man Lewis Murray from Chicago Heights, man, my adaptive brothers, Chicago Heights. You know, it's just like, I'm at a spot in life. I don't know where you are, Will, and I'm curious to know where you are. I'm at a spot in life where every platform matters. You know, everybody. You know, I've come to learn that. You know, not to be a person that's in love with the sound of your own voice. Yeah, but be genuine about where you come from. Be genuine about who you are and what you deliver and what your intent is. So I come to walk by that. So. I want to get rich, but I'm not trying to get rich. I'm just trying to be genuine. And if they get me rich or they get me comfortable to the point where I can put out expressions that express my utopia in the world, well, that's well worth it. That's what I'm on. Right? So I'm just curious to hear what you on.
You know, I just want to be carefree. I want to be in a position in life where I have the freedom to make choices and do things that make me and my family happy. I want to enjoy my stay. You know, I'm at an age right now, I look up every month, I'm seeing somebody I know or have a relationship with on Facebook or a classmate or a family member passing away. And I didn't need a pandemic for that to happen. And so I do understand I'm on borrowed time and I want to be as stress-free as possible. And I want to respect other people's opinions. You know?
No, that's real. Tashima, what's up, Shimo? She's a great conversation. Yeah. My cousin Elaine. Let me tell you about my cousin Elaine, Will, before we got off. My cousin Elaine, she came down here last year. She came down here for R. Kelly party. So, you know, so to my cousin Elaine, I love you to death, home girl. You know I love you, cuz. And I know how you, well, I can't say I know how you're feeling right now, but I can imagine you're not feeling well based off the news you with R. Kelly. So, you know, you was one of the names that I was looking for when I put that title up, just to be honest with you. She came down here and then my brother caught COVID and we was all in the van together. So me and Elaine panicked. Like, hey, hold on, wait a minute. We was in the car with this joker. Anyway, Elaine, I know how she feel about, you know, what's funny is what's really interesting is Elaine said something that really stuck with me. She was saying that like some of the behaviors that we crucify R. Kelly for, some of the people that crucify R. Kelly for when young women was in school, that was a come up. You know how that was, young girl, she 14, 15 years old, and then an older stud comes slide through. And that was like some kind of badge of honor. It was like a bragging right type thing.
Yeah.
That she was able to pull this older guy, you know what I mean? But now it's like crucify him, it had that, from what I remember her saying, it had that tone to it. And it was interesting. It was interesting perspective because I never thought about it like that. I never thought about like how a girl 15 years old and, she get a badge of honor from being able to say, man, I got an older guy pulled up on me.
It works both ways. I was 16. I had a 21-year-old girlfriend. You couldn't tell me nothing.
How are you?
I was 16. She was 21.
I told you it was a heartthrob, man. You think I recognize your evolution, man. This back when you had good hair. You had good hair back then, man. I can see your hair and all your kids. All your kids look like you in some kind of way, shape, or form. All your kids look like you. So.
Yeah, my youngest got the best hair in the family.
Who was that? Wade?
Wade, oh yeah.
Wade, yeah. Yeah. Shima said she right, though. She said Elaine was right. So, see, that's interesting. That's really what I want to hear. I really want to hear from the women in that regard because, I mean, we talking, like, it was funny is because, if we was to really tell the truth, man, we feel like women, we feel like most women are growing depending on how they 15, 16-year-old self look. And that's more like, that's a dangerous comment, so that's a dangerous comment. It depends on their behavior and their act. So we, as men, we kind of like zoom in on them like back in the day. Not now. I don't think, I don't now. A 15 or 16-year-old now is 15 to 16 years old for my mindset. But I'm thinking about when I was like, 19 or 20, I was a little more lenient on what 15 or 16 was. I was just more like, I get old girl, but we don't tell the truth like that. You know what I'm saying? We try to step back and be quiet about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. But now, okay, once we start having children and stuff like that, it changes us. It changes the way I think about a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old. I probably go all the way up to 25 before that I would look at them like, oh, you're 25, huh? But I could say when I was younger, I would probably say, in my 30s, when I was 30, what I'm saying, looking at a 19-year-old or 17-year-old, you get away with looking at a 16-year-old, you ain't feel as guilty. So there's some truism to what Tashima's saying or what Elaine is saying. That's all I'm saying. Now we have to outgrow that, but there's some truism to that. And I think it's a real gray area that we cannot talk about it. I was always being approached by older men in the teens, but she said, I'll shut them down. Mama taught me well. I need my glasses on. I hate to be breaking out my glasses. I don't know. I know everybody confessions will be different. So what are yours like? I mean, if you could relate, just tell me if you could relate to what I'm saying.
Nope, I'm innocent. No, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
That was just never my thing personally.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this. I've had a lot of friends or coworkers where we did not agree. When I worked at Coca-Cola, you had all these guys in their late 20s, early 30s, or older that enjoy going to the high schools to deliver and checking out the girl. That was not my thing.
Mm.
It might have been because I recognized what I did was inappropriate when I was 16. Maybe that influenced my decision because it took me a while to realize that was probably something I didn't do because it did mess up some things with me relationship wise.
Yeah.
Girls my age did not measure up to my new standards. I ain't gonna say what them standards were, but I had to bring myself back down a little bit here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But me personally, I even to this day, my daughter plays volleyball in high school, and I don't know why they're required to wear the littlest ass shorts that they could possibly make. But sometimes I just don't even feel comfortable, you know, when these girls leave the court and they want to just go to the store or walk out. It's like put some pants on, I get it, that's what their uniforms are, but me, it just never has been my thing. But I know a lot of folks they vibe like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, what I can line that up with something. Okay, it's the reason why us as siblings, like, like as sisters and brothers and stuff like that, shouldn't see each other naked, because like when you see, like, from the neck down, you don't look like my sister. From the neck down, you don't look like Lynn. You know what I mean? Me and Lynn had that conversation years ago. And and I think Lynn received that from me well, because I was like, you got to be careful. I think what it was, one day Lynn showed me a tattoo on her thigh, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all I saw, it was on her thigh, like on the inner part. Lynn got it. I'm telling her business. I ain't mean to tell her business. I'm sorry, Lynn Dory. But anyway, she showed me this tattoo, right? And
I ain't never seen a tattoo.
right, y'all don't need to see it. I'm sorry,
brother too.
Yeah, let me stop. I aired up business out. Jarvis, I'm sorry, man. I aired your mama business out. But anyway, my point was, at the moment when she showed me the tattoo, and me and Lynn, we tight as this. We tight, right? But all I could see was how her coochie looked in her what she had on.
Yeah,
and I said,
it's not a comfortable thing. Yeah, okay.
I said, Lynn, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, from the neck down, you don't look like Lynn. You know what I'm saying? So that it's a reason why siblings don't see each other naked. It's a reason why male and female cousins don't see each other naked. You know what I'm saying? We look like something. God said we look like something to each other. So God said, he called it something, incest. Don't do that. It's perverse. You have to learn.
What's crazy about?
Go ahead. Sure.
I don't even care to acknowledge my boys' sisters. I didn't like having eyes for your sisters or TC's, like, Tashima.
Right.
I always, when I felt like that we were brothers, I tried not to even look at them like that, even though it would have even been totally appropriate.
Yeah, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say that. I seen what Team Shima working with over there. I see what she got. You know what I'm saying? I see what you got, Shima. Like, but I agree with Will in the sense that there was a limit to Shimo. Like, I know I can't go in over there, but I saw what she working with. So I ain't look at her like no sister. Shimo is not like Mike's sister in that way. She might my sister. I'll die for her. She's my sister. But if we was on Noah's Ark and we had to save the world, Shimo is not my sister. So I had to keep the respect level there. You know what I mean? I had to know what it was. So. And so I'm the type that I want to be honest about things without trying to sound so lustful. I'm trying to be honest, but not trying to sound lustful, because everything is not lust because you're being real. And that's what a lot of people got to understand. I don't know what this was Shimo put. What is that? Man, I can't even see that. I know you worse than me, Will. I don't know what that was.
I can't even see you.
But so my point with me saying that is that I get your point, and I get the reverence level that you're saying it from, that we have to be respectful. Like, I mean, we have to draw a line in the sand. You know what I mean? Not to, because we don't want that confrontation of that awkward moment, if we was to go there, right? But at the end of the day, everybody's different. But just because everybody's different, don't make them a malice of lust. It don't make them a malice of lust. You don't grow up in my household, and I've learned to reverence all my sisters in my crib and all my sisters' children and all that type of stuff. And then now I got to go over to TC crib and your crib, and then can't look at them either. Come on, now I gotta be honest, because if we wasn't honest for real, like, everybody different. If we wasn't honest about how to grab our self-control, we wouldn't even know how to grab our self-control if we wasn't honest at what we were looking at. That's my point. So I'm not saying that was just a strategy I had to use. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
I promise you, if you come to my house and all four of my daughters are here,
They all got their own different look. My
Mhm.
daughters are all beautiful. They got their own lanes. You probably gonna cry for me because
Right.
you like you being punished for all the things that you've done. The Lord is hitting you hard in your gut because I enjoy that they're beautiful, but man, they attract some attention. And I go to the
Right.
store with dudes breaking their necks, and it's just like I just gotta shake my head. You know, some are voluptuous and some are just pretty.
Right.
You know, ugh.
And this is the type of conversation I feel like we should have more upfront as responsible men,
Yeah.
as men that we know won't go there, even though our details may sound different, but we won't go there. You know what I mean? That's the point. We won't go there. Under no circumstance will I go there. So just because I make mention of saying I could see you, don't mean I go there. I could see
Yeah.
you. So if I say I can see you in a way that make it like, dang, look at him, he a pedophile, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what that means, but it's okay because I'm strong enough to say it. I'm strong enough to say what I see. You know what I mean? So I just want to make sure that we have that healthy enough conversation that hopefully it can make somebody make a different decision, and at least a moment of time to say, you know what, man, I'm glad they had that conversation because I'm gonna not give my coochie away because I got a future ahead of me, for whatever reason. You know what I mean? So, I have 3 beautiful daughters. I feel you. You know what I'm saying? Shima said, Will, you can't read it either, man. We need our glasses on. We sit up here trying to be all extra strong because we ain't wearing our reading glasses. And we sit up here trying to read these scripts and can't read them. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, y'all, thank you for tuning in. Hey, Shimo, I appreciate you. One day, why don't you jump on with us, man, and just air it out, Shimo. Air it out with us. And, so we can have more than one perspective in here on our organic conversations when they're not scripted. We never, not scripted. This is not a show. We're not a show when we jump on here live no more. And that's my take on being on live for the rest of my life. And I'm not a show. We're going to jump on and we're going to get down. Will, man, I appreciate you jumping on with me tonight, man.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. I always enjoy talking to you.
Oh, man, for sure, man. We've been friends since Esmond, man. Ever since, you had the perfect form with your jump shot. Ever since you had the perfect form, man. You always had a perfect.
Give me compliments. I'm trying to make you comfortable, make you blush.
You did have a good jumper, Will. Come on now. I'm not trying to gas you up. You just told me the other day you had a good jumper.
Yes, and I still got it.
See, now you cocky. Now you went from humble to cocky. My man Will Noble, man, thanks. He is Gary Indiana Jones on Facebook. And I'm your boy Robert Leo Jr., man. As always, man, I love y'all. Thanks for chiming in. Anytime y'all chime in, it does my heart well, because I'm genuine. I'm really not made for TV, really. So anytime you see me on Facebook or anything live, be like, that's a miracle, Bob, doing that. Because y'all know how I talk. Anyway, love y'all. Deuces.
All right.
Will, I appreciate. Hold on.